Business Prowess with Raphael and Juanita. Our show will bring you the best insights, ideas, and inspiration from successful entrepreneurs and CEOs in the business world. We'll talk to experts and business leaders. Don't miss out on the opportunity to learn from the best and stay ahead of the game. Sifu Raphael is the founder of 5 unique shows. He's a fitness professional, solutions expert, executive coach, and head instructor at Max Martial Arts and Fitness in New York. Juanita Cap is a public speaker who was in the ministry for 15 years. She has extensive knowledge of various topics such as leadership and communication, and has emceed many executive and academic events. Juanita is the founder of 2 unique shows. Her life motto is never give up.
And we are live. Good day, Jonathan. How are you?
Blessed and unstoppable. So excited to be here with you guys for a second week in a row.
Absolutely. And Sifu is joining us, and I want to add him because I really have to share something with Sifu that we talked about just before the show. I think the audience will enjoy this. So the countdown starts, and I quickly powder my face like this. And Jonathan says, I need makeup as well. And I said, but how will you apply it over that beard? And we had a great laugh. Good day, everyone at Business Prowess. Of course, it's a wonderful opportunity and a privilege to be here with you. And we are joined by our amazing Sifu Raphael, my co-host and co-founder, and Jonathan Ellis. He's an entrepreneur. He's an author of the Uncomplicated book. He's the founder of the Thought Provoking Change community, and they have an upcoming, we have an upcoming unscripted event. I'm also part of his community and so happy to be on the team. So welcome everyone. Sifu, I'll hand over to you.
Well, Jonathan, when you get a little older, the way you can fix, the makeup is you Sharpie the beard.
There's a perfect way to uncomplicate the whole situation right there.
There we go.
Hey, Sifu Raul Ortiz, thank you so much for joining us on Business Prowess. One of the things that we want to talk about today is definitely concepts in business. And when we think about the catalyst of all the different things that come together to create business, when we think about personnel, when we think about supplies, when we think about whether it's a brick and mortar business or a virtual business or a coaching business, all of these things have to come together, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Jonathan has something that he would love to share with us. Now,
Absolutely.
Everyone on social media knows that I always talk about magic and synchronicity in the universe working in astounding ways. And I believe he had a phenomenal evening last night. It was just going to be something, and then it became something completely different. Would you like to share with us, Jonathan?
Absolutely. Thank you. This is a really exciting time. It's almost one of those pinch myself to make sure that I'm awake and not dreaming moments. I went to dinner with a friend of mine last night. He flew in to speak at an event that he's on stage as we speak right now. And I told him, I'm like, James, I'll pick you up from the airport and we'll go have dinner. So my wife and I went and picked him up, and then we went and enjoyed an amazing dinner where we literally laughed so hard that our sides were hurting. I mean, it was absolutely phenomenal. This particular gentleman, his name is James Dixon. You can find him across social media at Absolute Motivator. Phenomenal guy. Well, at one point we are talking and he picks up the pen.
Can I stop you for 1 second?
Okay.
I'm hearing echo. So somebody has another thing playing at the end. No, not from you. I think Juanita, I don't know if you have something else playing where he's coming in afterwards, or if you can go to the settings and click on echo cancellation, because I'm hearing echo when you speak. So, and I like the way you brought that microphone in. You're like, I gotta say this. So thank you. And I apologize for interrupting. So go ahead, my friend.
It's all good. So James reaches over and grabs the pen and he writes down on the to-go bag something. And my wife finishes talking, and then he looks at us. He says, "Y'all have a story to tell." Now, backing up a little bit from there, as you can see behind me, not looking at the clothes because I am in my closet, I just released my very first authoritative book where it's just me. And I knew that would not be my last book. I knew that there would be more. Well, James looks at us, and what he wrote down on that bag was a title of a book. And he said, "I want y'all to look at this, think about this, and pray about this, because this just really fits y'all's story." Absolutely incredible. Well, moments later, his telephone rings, and he kind of shows it to us. It's Mark Victor Hansen, the writer of Chicken Soup for the Soul. Him and Jack Cranfield. Well, it was just Mark on the call. James is writing a book with Mark right now. And he talked to Mark for, I don't know, probably a minute and a half. And then he excused himself to go outside where it was a little more quiet. James runs in and he just motions for us. "Come on." Okay, cool. So we get up, we walk out, and he's standing there on the phone. And I looked at my wife and I said, "Is this man about to put me on the phone with Mark Victor Hansen?" I step over there and he says, "Mark, I have some friends I want to introduce you to." He got up and he left so that he could tell Mark a little bit about us. So we are on the voicemail with the one and the only Mark Victor Hansen. And as unbelievable as that was in and of itself, I mean, you don't get much higher. I think the only person that sold Mark Victor Hansen is the Bible. He sold
I had a clap for you.
awesome. He sold like 600 million copies of that one book. Online it says 500 million. The internet's just behind right now. But we went from that to James gives my wife his phone while we're driving back to drop him off at his event. She sends over our contact information. Well, this morning I had a call with one of my business partners. Hang up from there, and seconds later, my phone rings and it says Mark Victor Hansen. I'm like, holy crap. So he essentially gives me an abridged interview, and he said, "We're definitely going to write a book together." So we were supposed to meet this evening, but that's not going to work out. So we're meeting on Monday, the 24th. And it's just so surreal. The whole point in all of this is not to say, "Hey, look at me, look at who I'm hanging with." That's not it. The point is, be your true, authentic self all the time. I was not there talking with my friend James. I was not there blowing smoke up his rear end to impress him about who I am or who I am not. My wife was not attempting to impress him with who she is or who she is not. We were just talking to a friend. We were being exactly who we were, no better, no worse. And here we are about to be in a book deal with Mark Victor Hansen. You can't get much bigger than that.
That's beautiful.
And that is just amazing. It is the whole concept, though, of be true to who you are. Because there is a concept that time will expose you or time will promote you. You can be the biggest and the best of everything in the world. And if it's not really you, people are going to see through it. The cracks are going to unveil. You're going to fall straight through the cracks that you created with your own story. So always be who you are. Always be true to yourself.
Yeah, I love that. Be authentic, because there's only one you, right? And when we lie and we fib and we do all these things to try to be something we're not, the truth always shines.
It does.
Always.
Yeah, the masks fall off after a certain time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The truth always comes out, and I love what you talked about, that you're not trying to impress anybody.
Right.
Yes.
You're just being you. So I love the fact of the reason that you were called and you have an appointment with this incredible person, with Mark, is because of what? We all know what it is. It's connections.
It's
Yes.
connection.
It's being authentic. Right?
That's right.
That's how everything.
That's it. Proximity is power. And you know, the interesting thing is I just met James 2 weeks ago, maybe. And I don't think I'll ever forget. We were sitting on, it was actually a Wednesday night because I broke away from having a chat with him and one of my business partners to go inside the building to log into the Thought Provoking Change Wednesday, Wisdom Wednesday meeting. And when I came back, I realized that my partner was actually telling James a story that happened several months ago. My partner was going through some things, and he lives in a completely different state, a 6 to 8 hour drive time, depending on traffic and depending on how quickly I really want to get there. And I was on the phone with him at 11:30, 11:45 at night, hung the phone up, and long story short, 8 hours later, I was calling him saying, "Hey, you need to call your gate to let me in your neighborhood." He said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I am at your house. Let me in." And he was telling James about that story. And you know, I didn't think anything of it, really. It's just, if I consider you a friend, you're never going to question the friendship. Right. It's not going to happen. You will know that I have your back through thick and thin. Mm-hmm. And that was just an opportunity. He needed somebody there. He didn't ask me to come down there. Clearly, he was shocked when I was there. He was telling that story to James. And when I walked back out on the balcony after I logged out of the Wisdom Wednesday call, James is just smiling real big at me. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of awkward. And he said, "Your friend was just telling me about when you drove down to his house." I'm like, okay. The thing is, again, that was done in secret. I'm not sitting here putting it on Facebook, putting it across all social media. Right. Look at what I'm doing. Look at what a friend I am. No, you do it in the privacy, and some way, some shape or some fashion, God will bring it into the light. Mm-hmm. You know, everything that happens in the darkness comes into the light. That's not always a negative thing. Right. And those simple things, just one after another, leads you to, in this particular situation, possibly, potentially, likely going into a book with one of the biggest authors of all time.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on that. When we think about being authentic, right? When we think about being genuine, I think in business that's what sets certain businesses apart from others. Yeah. When we think about the processes, the way we treat our employees, you know, the way we even reprimand our employees, right? We don't do it in public, we do it in private. So one of the things I always teach my employers is, first, if I make a mistake, I want to know, but don't do it in front of my customers.
Yes.
Do it in private, and I will have the same respect for you. If you mess up, I'm not going to come and start yelling. I'm not that person anyway to begin with. So I will always, and if you mess up, I'm not going to come across and tell you how terrible that was. I'm gonna come in a different approach, and I'm gonna say, hey, listen, I noticed that this happened.
Yes.
How do you think we can handle it? So I'm going to ask for your input to help fix your own mistake, because you may have the answer to fixing your mistake.
That's right.
So that doesn't mean, yeah, I know how to fix it. I know what you did wrong. But if I have you be part of the process, so that's why I want to talk about process and tactics. So that's one of the tactics I use is, how can I help you help me fix your problem?
Right.
In business, if you do that, you're going to have employees or partners or someone or even clients who are going to be loyal to what you're doing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
Without
think
a
want to
it
doubt.
share with you guys for a quick second, if you don't mind, that there's this incredible event that's happening and it's got great music. Take a look. I know, Jonathan, you didn't realize it, but Juanita and I were
we're
dancing
jamming.
through this whole thing. So this is happening at the end of the month, people. Juanita, I know it's happening and I want to help you promote it. And I know you have incredible speakers. And I know it's super cheap to participate. Would you
Yes.
mind sharing with us for a quick second what it entails, how much it is, and give us the website and everything?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sifu. Us to that. And yes, we were jamming to that music. Sifu and I can't help but start dancing when that tune starts to play. We have the Capital Connection Conference coming up, 28 to 30 April. It is an online conference and it will start at 9 o'clock in the morning till 5:30 in the afternoon. And that this venture is with Alejandro J. Tornato and I. We have 3 jam-packed days, amazing
Mm,
experiences awaiting us, 18 international top caliber speakers, and we are going to discuss 6 topics. And amongst these topics is personal empowerment, personal and business discipline, time management, health and fitness, scaling your business. There's so many things that we are going to unpack, and it's only $97. And I'll put the link in the comments here below for how you can purchase your ticket. Make sure you open that space of time for all 3 days, because as the group starts on the
mm.
Friday, I saw with the other conferences, they really gel and grow together until the Sunday. So you don't want to miss a moment. Thank you.
No, absolutely. Definitely put in the comments and then I'll throw it up on the screen. Everybody should go.
Yes.
Everybody should go. You know, we do have an event coming up in New York, but I'm not going to bring that up yet. We'll bring it up in a little bit. So when we think about even that business concept of having all these different speakers coming along, putting this whole process together, you partnered up with somebody. You know, Jonathan was just talking about partnering. There's a whole way that we can partner with someone. A great way to, most important, to have clear communication, right?
Mhm.
Jonathan, how important is clear communication in business?
Oh, you must have it,
Mm,
because if you are working in one path and your staff, your crew is working in another, you're not going to reach the ultimate goal. You both, you all have to be on the same path, and that is done by communication, just like a marriage. I mean,
mm,
especially if you are a business partner with somebody, you're married to them.
right.
And so communication is everything. Without it, failure ensues.
Mm,
So you must be on the same path with everybody that's on board.
always, always.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mentioned in one of our Capital Life Sifu, it actually relates to what Jonathan just said. I mentioned that when we, practice the art of delegation, when we work with our employees, we have to be very careful to make sure that they know, and the onus is on us as the business owner, that they know what the vision is.
Right.
What is the vision? That, because I've seen it in the ministry and in corporate companies, sometimes there's a vision within the vision that doesn't work. That's like a horse carriage driving along, and the one horse wants to go this way and the other horse wants to go this way, and what's going to happen to the horse carriage? So make sure that they know the vision, that they are clearly communicated to what is expected of them, what is the end result, what are we wanting it to look like at the end, and also to delegate the right tasks to the right employees. And when we know this person is skilled in this certain area, let's not forget the fourth aspect, and that's that we shouldn't overpower them and give them too much to bear. We shouldn't give them too much of the work. We should make sure that it's distributed within the team, because the fastest place where you'll find a team that is upset about a project or a goal that we have is when someone is not skilled in the area, when they don't know what is expected, what's the end result, when they're not clear of the vision, and when they're overburdened.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. When we think about bringing together, and you talked about, Jonathan, about the importance of that communication, and I kind of brought it up, but it leads to, in the day and age that we are in, right? I believe in super clear communication, because in a business situation, we can have somebody who will say something, as even as a partner, they'll say one thing and then they'll do another, and maybe they didn't understand what had to be done. So I think that over communicating over and over, and even maybe sending an email, this is what I meant, or even nowadays, take your phone and this is what I meant, so it's on video, and then maybe even say, hey, you know what? Why don't we start thinking about elevating our meetings? And people are like, what do you mean by elevating our meetings? We're meeting in person. How can we elevate them? Let's record them. Well, how do we record them? Well, use Zoom. It's
Right.
it's simple, it's cheap. Some people don't even pay for it. I pay for mine, but you get 40 minutes. You can have a 30-minute conversation, and to have a business meeting and have it recorded, so you both get
Yes.
a recording of it, right? And so you can't say, well, I didn't say that. Well, guess what? You did.
It's
Right.
there.
Find out why you said it and why you're reneging now. So what are your
Love it.
thoughts on doing something of that regard, that nature?
Yeah, like you said, over communicate everything that you possibly can, because we also have different language patterns. So I say something and you may hear it exactly how I say it, but it means something different to you. So you are doing 100% of what you heard and what you understood, yet it is not what I was meaning, even though it was there. See, communication, the giving and receiving, is the responsibility of the person speaking. If the person does not clearly understand, dumb it down. It's the KISS, keep it simple, stupid method. Whenever you're speaking, speak to someone as though they're an educated seventh grader or 7-year-old, 7-year-old. That's not going to diminish their intelligence. It's not going to insult their intelligence. You're just speaking so clearly, so precise, and so genuinely that there is no question about what is being said. And so then you can just move on with progress, with moving forward, moving that needle forward and getting to where you are scheduled to be at.
Yeah.
I was listening to someone, and they said that some of the best speakers in the world
Yeah.
speak at a 5th grade level. Why? So everyone understands.
That's right.
Right.
Yes.
So if you speak at a college level, you're only going to get people who have that kind of education listening. But if you want to reach the masses, you have, and you said it perfectly, you have to KISS, right? Keep it simple, silly is what I like to say. So for me, it's always about, if I say something, especially in a meeting or something, I want them to regurgitate it back, say it back to me. Do you understand? If I'm teaching somebody something, even if in the past, I own a wood shop, and sometimes I would be in somebody's home and I had a helper or something like that, or somebody I hired, and I would say, we need to do it this way. And they're like, okay. And I said, well, do you know how to do it? Yes. I'll say, well, I just want to make sure that you do it. I didn't do it one time. And this poor kid almost lost his hand
Mm.
because he said to me, I know how to cut this piece of wood,
Oh my
because there was a
goodness.
specific way of cutting it. Thank God he didn't
Yeah.
die. But the wood got cut in a certain way. He didn't hold it correctly, and it shot back, and it kind of like flew by him, and it stuck into the wall. Right now, he could have hurt his eye. He could have gotten so
Goodness.
much hurt. And I said to him, after I saw what happened, I said, what happened? He goes, oh, it just flew. I'm like, how'd you hold it?
Mm.
Like this. And I said, remember when I asked you if you know how to do this particular cut? He goes, yeah. I said, well,
You
you
did it.
obviously don't. Let me teach you.
Right.
And I'm going to show you how to do it properly so
Yeah.
that you are safe. Right. And it was, there's a certain way to do certain things. But if we're not 100% clear on how it should be done, there's that misinterpretation.
Right.
So that's why I believe in systems,
Yes.
videotaping it, and for me, a lot of my teachings, especially if I hire somebody, I'll say you have to watch this video. I've done it for you already,
Mm.
but then I don't want you, I don't want to assume, because you know what happens with that. I don't
No,
want to
yes.
assume you have it. I want you to tell me,
Right.
Yeah.
as if I never, you're going to teach it to me now.
Mhm.
So now I can understand that you truly know it. And to
Yeah.
me, that's the most efficient way to make sure that we're both on the same page.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do the same, Sifu. I call it a rollout schedule. So I like to put it in a rollout schedule format where I show the person in a chronological format what are the steps to follow, what follows after each step, and then I like to show it in a practical manner. Even if it's just editing, I sit with them and I show them this is what you have to do, and you first add this before you add this, otherwise you have to redo. And that's not a silly thing. It's actually
Mm,
teaching that person to think, to start to think in a chronological manner so that when we present them with a bigger task or maybe a higher level task, they already have those thought processes. They've been conditioned to do it in that manner. And when we are systemized like that, the job gets done sooner and the product, the end result is just so much better. So I think it's important that we also, and you mentioned that, Sifu, when we work with our employees, handle them with care and
mm,
sit with them and be patient with them, like I'm sure everybody in this call is, and guide them through the process. And you know what I find? They find the process so much more enjoyable. They love their work so much more on such another level because they actually know what they are expected to do. And that takes the stress and the anxiety away. And when the stress and the anxiety disperses, of course, what happens? The creative juices start to flow and everybody's happy.
without a doubt. So we have Raul Ortiz. He's a Sifu. He also said he's got to go teach a private lesson, but hopefully this will be recorded and he can watch it later. Absolutely, Raul. So happy that you were able to join us. One of the things he's talking, he's going to go teach a private lesson. One of the things that I always, my students have to learn how to teach. To be my student, you have to learn how to teach. And what the method that I use is learn to teach, teach to learn.
Mhm.
And so I will have a 5-year-old teach a 4-year-old. Now, don't get me wrong, they're not the teachers. I'm still the teacher. But if they can say, do it like this, then I know, hey, they know it.
Right.
Then they can progress to the next level. And I do that all the way through. I don't care if you're a yellow belt, white belt, green belt, black belt, you have to be able to teach it. So then the same thing I do with my instructors. When I'm teaching an instructor, I'll say, even if I'm teaching them a sales process, I'm like, okay, I'm new. Sell it to me.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's hard to sell it to you. I said, if you can sell it to me, you can sell it to anybody.
That's right.
Right? Because I know what all the mistakes you're gonna make, and I will pick them up. But I'm not gonna demeanor you when you're trying your best. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take mental notes and then come back and train you as to, let me ask you, why did you say it that way? What did you mean? And then they'll go, oh, I guess I wasn't thinking of what I meant. I said, because every word when you're in front of a customer is going to impact their buying decision,
Yes.
right? Just the same way that your friend put Mark on the phone with you to say, these are the people I want you to meet. If he did not feel that passion, would he have made the introduction?
Absolutely not.
Right.
And Sifu, you were talking, I have to add this, guys, you were talking about, teaching to learn and learning to teach. And my son, I always say, I've always said it over the years, people look at what we do and they listen to what we say and they want to see if those things match. Now, that's the same when we have family members. And I was driving in the truck yesterday with my son, and my son starts this conversation. He says, Mom, I'm 11 years old now. And I thought, oh, something's brewing. And I said, yes, you're 11 years old. And he said, I'm old enough now to start my YouTube channel. I said, oh, really, are you? And he said, yes, I'm old enough and I want to do a gaming channel, but there will be other themes as well. So I said, that sounds interesting. And he stops and he pauses and he looks at me and he says, and I was thinking, I'm going to sell your merchandise on my YouTube channel, your meticulous merchandise. And I said, oh, that's lovely, thank you. And then he goes, this last final pitch, he says, and we're going to split it 50-50, and he winks.
Love
And I
it.
thought, we have a young entrepreneur on our hands.
I love young entrepreneurs. Love young entrepreneurs. Look at that kid who was doing
Right.
unboxing videos. I think at 8 years
Yeah.
old, he was making $8 million a year. So
Yeah.
your son, make him watch those videos, unboxing and
Yeah.
gaming. It's huge. So
Mhm.
not only does he have to be on YouTube, but he should also be on Twitch, and he can
Yes.
be on a couple of other things on Discord. So there's a lot of places that your son can definitely make an impact. And the gaming industry is huge. Let me
Booming.
share with you where we are all going to meet some innovators and masterful people. Let me share that with you.
Heroes Rising Apex is the highly anticipated business event of the year. This gathering of industry leaders, entrepreneurs, authors, and visionaries promises to be a game-changing experience that will inspire, educate, and provide networking opportunities. Get ready to immerse yourself in a world of innovation, strategy, and collaboration as we embark on an unforgettable journey of learning, growth, and success. Join us in New York on July 14th through the 16th. Go to heroesrisingapex.com for tickets.
Okay, I have to ask, who's coming?
I am.
What? Loving it, loving it. So maybe you'll bring your new friend with you, Mark. We'll
Hey,
throw him
maybe
on
so. We'll
stage.
see.
Why not?
I don't know. He might be a little bit shy and timid to speak in public, though.
You think so?
Not at all.
Speaker too.
He is. He
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. And he can even bring one or two of his books if he likes,
That will be amazing. I'm looking forward to Heroes Rising.
Yeah, it's going to be a super blast. We are really not only gearing up to have amazing speakers, but I may have a celebrity or two there.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm curious.
You have to come. I do have some clients of mine who are celebrities, but I don't really talk much about them because it's privacy.
Of course.
But one of the things is if I can coax them into coming, I definitely will. when we think about business in general, there's certain things in business that we don't let the general public know, right? Certain things that we kind of have, it's not because we're being secretive in a negative way, it's because we have to somehow keep it so that we have that power to bring to them, to give them more. Because sometimes, and I'm not much of a secretive guy, right? I'm an open book, probably 90 books worth or more. I've actually written that many books, but I haven't published one. And the reason is, like Paul Masson said, no wine is served before its time. So my time is coming. I'm probably going to release a couple of books at once. But, you know, when we think about keeping certain things in the background, right, behind the curtain, if you will, because not everybody wants to see the process of the results,
Right.
right? So if you're having brain surgery, you don't want to see what hammering they're going to be doing or drilling they're going to be doing into your brain. When
Right.
I had my knee surgery, I was out. But I got to be honest, it was pretty cool when I had stitches on my head and the surgeon is talking to me as he's stitching at the same time. It was pretty cool. I got to be honest with you.
You've got to try to have 2 C-sections when you have babies. I mean, you are present during the whole process. That's not fun.
That I want to see. You are a very wealthy man as soon as that happens, I'll tell you.
Yeah, yeah. Can you imagine?
Oh my goodness.
What's one advice that you can give someone when we are thinking of, because you've been in business for so long, Jonathan, what's one thing that we can do, maybe even daily or monthly, to attract new clients, but to keep the ones we have feel like they're still new?
The sale does not end
Yes.
once the agreement is made. That's when the sale begins. They have agreed, like in the community that I'm the founder of, Thought Provoking Change. Every person that is in there, I tell them on a very regular basis, you are my family of choice. And I don't say that just to say it. You know, I have been to several of their businesses. I have spent time with them one-on-one. That's what it's about, is relationship.
Yes.
How do you make a sale? Relationship. Yes, we know there's logical reasons to buy. There's emotional reasons to buy. You got to gel those together. Of course, we know that. However, the relationship is where it comes in at. When you form a relationship with somebody and they know you are there for them instead of you are there for their dollar, it takes you to whole different levels with everyone. I was speaking with someone that was at a recent event that I was also at, and he made the comment. He said, these groups oftentimes look to me to be their bank. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. What do you mean? He said, they get me to come in, I sign up, and then it's like I don't even exist anymore. The thing is, again, the sale begins when that money is handed over. It doesn't end there. It's not, oh, let me go to the bank. It's over with. I forgot about that person. Well, you'll forget about them. They'll forget about you. And that will have a ripple effect. Take care of everybody that's in your community. And I'm not talking just a thought-provoking change community or communities like that. If you're a car salesman, follow up with the person a month later. Hopefully they don't need to buy another car, but maybe their cousin does. And when you follow up and you let them know you are more important to me than the dollar that you just gave me, that goes far, and people remember that. So
Yeah, without a doubt.
always, you know, it's just like a restaurant. If a restaurant closes at 10 p.m., the person that comes in at 9:50, I've worked in a restaurant. It's a pain in the butt. However, the person that comes in minutes before closing time, they should be given the same respect and treated the same way as the person that comes in at lunchtime.
Yeah.
Treat them all the same. And just because they've been with you for a while, treat them as though it's the first day with you.
Without a doubt. You know, you just made me think of when I used to take my grandmaster home. And I'm talking, it would be 9:30 at night, 10 o'clock at night. And it was an hour, maybe an hour and 20 minutes, sometimes drive, depends if it was traffic or not. And it was from Long Island to Brooklyn. And on the way there, he's like, let's go eat. Okay, so we stop in Flushing, which is, you know, they have their own Chinatown, right? And we pull up to his favorite restaurant. And literally, you see the guys pulling the gates down. And they see me pull up. The guy looks, sees my car, throws the gates up, whistles. About 10 guys come out of their cars. They come in, and it's just me and my grandmaster. Now, talk about service.
Right.
We go there, and this is huge, huge restaurant. And there's fish in this huge tank. And my grandmaster goes, that one. That one. So we sit down. This happened many times, but the first time was the funniest because we sit there and it's this big round table that sits 10 people and it's just him and I. And food starts coming out and coming out and coming out. And I'm thinking, who's joining us? Nobody. It was him and I. Him and I. And the best Chinese food I've ever eaten in my life. And of course, you know, the bill came and I had to pay it. But the experience
right.
was beyond.
Right.
And this happened 3 times a week. And he's like, oh, I know who's going to pay for dinner tonight. So it was, you know, every week I was spending hundreds of dollars to feed this man, but also feed myself. But we didn't have to eat for 12 people.
Right.
We had to just get for him and me. But every time it was a brand new fish and the food was fresh. Everything was amazing. And then we would have this dinner. But the service that we received was exceptional. And it wasn't like, too bad.
Right.
We're closed.
Sorry. Right.
Well, also it made a difference because they didn't know who I was.
Mm-hmm.
They knew who he was.
Mm-hmm.
And in China, he was considered one of the 10 treasures. Literally, when he went to a restaurant in San Francisco, in Chinatown in San Francisco, he had never been there. But when he walked into the room, all the kitchen staff, all the waiters, everybody came and bowed to this man.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kind of celebrity he was in the Chinese martial arts world. And anybody I've had podcasts and people go, I think I trained with your grandmaster one time. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But, you know, for me, it was the experience of not only seeing how people treated this man, and he had a different take on things.
Right.
And he was a troublemaker. He literally, he would, like, if he saw a bunch of hoodlums, he'd like take like a couple of $100 out of his hand, his pocket, and go through it in his hand just to see if they would try to rob him. And there's actually clippings of him in Chinatown where people have actually tried to rob him and they didn't do well.
Yeah,
because
it didn't go so well.
all the policemen are around him. All the policemen are around him going like this with this little Chinese man, and to understand the power that one person can generate. And it was not because he was showing his power at that point. It was because of what he had done in his life. So the actions we take as a business owner will replicate and will resonate with those people who are looking for that, right?
Mhm.
True.
Absolutely.
Relationship building all the way. I've been in the real estate market for many years, and we always say location. But I always tell entrepreneurs, and even in the church setting, any setting where you work, relationship.
That's it.
And we're talking
Absolutely.
about being your authentic self. Just be sincere. It's
Mhm.
not difficult. Just be you. Be the person who you are at home. Be that same person in the supermarket, behind the pulpit, in the dojo. Be
That's
who
right.
you are and be sincere. And then you'll never go, wrong. You'll always have the right people around you. And it's just amazing to see how people develop and how we grow together.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely.
You
And
know,
it takes
Jonathan,
time.
I think we're going to have to give you a plaque because this is your third time coming on here.
It is. It is, and it won't be my last time either.
And it will not be your last. We're going to have to, you're going to have to hang your shingle with us.
I always
Listen,
enjoy spending time with you guys. You guys are amazing.
that's awesome. Thank you for saying that. And the only reason is because Juanita's so powerful. That
Yeah,
Thank
is
you,
a powerful
Simos.
woman right there.
Juanita is part of our team at Thought Provoking Change, just not just as a member, but she is also on the team that helps me run it. So
Well,
there's power right there.
that's
Thank you,
beautiful.
guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Well, it's the truth. You want
It's
us
the
to
truth.
lie? No, it's not going to happen. It is the truth. It is, we come into the world naked. It's how we clothe ourselves, right? It's the messages that we receive, the messages we push away.
Right.
It's how we show up every single day. So I want to thank you so much, Jonathan, for hanging your shingle with us today. So thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Juanita, what can I say? You're a world traveler. Where are you next, girl?
New York at the Heroes Rising event.
There you go. Yes. So thank you guys. Have an exceptional rest of your day. Don't go away, you guys, because I want to talk to you afterwards. But do me a favor. Wait, we do have one more comment, and it is from, oh, look at that. You
Oh,
are killing it everywhere, Juanita. See that?
thank you, Debbie.
Yes. So do us all a favor. Tune in next week where we bring you another incredible episode. Take care, everybody.